So yeah, no, we still don't have any members of the public for this public hearing, but you can still announce the time that you're opening it and the time that you're closing it.
Okay, great. The time for it's 7:14, and we will be opening the public hearing at 7:14. Again, I would like to remind people, if we do have someone come in, that you do need to give your name and the topic of what you'd like to talk about. Well, we're going to talk about the proposed lighting. So that's on our agenda tonight. Welcome your comments.
There's nobody
No
to
members
comment.
of the public. Yeah.
So you could just close the public hearing.
I will. No one here to comment tonight, so we'll close the public hearing at 7:15. Thank you. Now, here we go with our recommendation, or anything that we would like to. I think we need to put a motion on the table, and then we can do our discussion. Mr. Bovers, I was wondering if you had things to say about, one time we did some of this, and I think you had some comments. So I would like to put a motion on the table and then hear any comments that anyone has for our commissioners. Someone like to make a motion on that?
I can do that.
Thank you.
I move that following consideration of the comprehensive plan and development regulation amendment process and NBMC 20.08.070 through 20.08.110, the Planning Commission recommends approval of the proposed amendments to NBMC 19.06.110 as provided in the staff report dated November 18, 2021.
Thank you. Do I need a second on that before I move forward? Someone
Yes.
like to second that, please?
I'll second it. This is Susan.
Thank you, Commissioner Torgerson. Now, planning commission deliberation on this. Anyone have something they'd like to share with us on this? Comments?
Yeah, I can talk a little bit. I'm do probably need to abstain from this vote because Tanner does do this, like at the company I work for. And so I can definitely talk. I'm not an expert at street lighting, but I do a lot of this. So I can definitely put. I have some comments and some thoughts I could shed some light on. But if anyone else wants to talk first, that'd be fine.
I'm fine with hearing your comments.
Okay. So street lighting is. So Tanner's, I don't know if everybody knows who Tanner is, but we're a small co-op. So like PSE, you pay your power bill. I'm not sure any of you guys are on our system, but we're just a very, very, very small version of PSE. And so we are utilities. In like the ownership comment, number one, we are a franchised agreement utility with City of North Bend. And so we do help install these. We do own some of these in some cases. We definitely do work with the developers when they put these in, when they do a development along the collector roads, and especially in the development themselves. Some of the comments I would say from this is, my first one that kind of struck out to me was, did you guys purposely leave out heights when it comes to the streetlights? I didn't see anything in the part numbers that are going to dictate a height for some of those poles.
Right. We do have some heights in the lighting, the overall lighting chapter. But that's a good point to keep it consistent.
I think Public Works has those standards. We can double check. I think we're just concentrating on design.
Yeah.
It comes into it when you talk about the average lighting and the foot candles. I know dictate a lot of that with the height. So
I know there is requirements for foot candles in other areas of the code. So I think that's where all of those requirements are.
Yeah, we'll double check that and make sure it's clear, crystal clear. So we're not going along a street in the downtown or somewhere and it goes, that would definitely look weird. So
Yeah,
And they do have the Public Works has the specs. And so what they typically do is provide the applicant that spec and say, do this, just like it was done next door. So.
The other comment I had was on part B, number 2. This is kind of wordsmithing a little bit, but when on a private streetlights in like a development, when it's not on the city and the city is not paying for it, at least for Tanner maintains ownership of those lights even if the HOA is paying for them. So the private streetlights comment about it being privately owned, I think privately owned still covers us in that sense because Tanner would own it as a private company. But if the idea here was that the public, the HOA owns that, that's usually not the case for us. At least I don't know how PSE handles that. I kind of leave it to you guys if you think that that's that's meant to convey.
Which one are you referring to? I'm sorry, which section?
Part B, number 2, private streetlights, at the
No,
very end of it on page 6.
I think it's saying on private roads. So like if it's not city right of way is what we're trying to differentiate.
And so even in that, the streetlights with Tanner are never owned by, so even if the city is not paying for it, Tanner would own those. So if Tanner privately owning that is what you mean, then that's fine. But I wouldn't want to have to see something in the code as an employee of Tanner. I wouldn't want to see something that forced us to sell the pole to them and change.
I think we're saying not the city. So that's the interpretation is we don't want to own streetlights on non-public streets and non-public right away. Okay.
Right.
And then, I was a big fan of the or similar lines you put in there. We always call it or equivalents, but similar is helpful. There's a lot of manufacturers that do these poles. Amaron's a great one. That's one we supply anyway, but you always want to add that or similar if something changes or giving people the option of buying maybe a same quality, but a little bit cheaper if Amaron's prices go way up, stuff like that.
Yeah, I think we have that same term in the standards equivalent, but because this is design, we're trying to go similar, Yeah.
And then the last thing I had from reading through this was, see if I can bring it up here. That's the comment about heights. I guess that's it. Never mind then. That's the comments I had. I'm a big fan of the idea of doing the same lights. I like calling out the manufacturer and trying to get as specific as you can without being, you have to buy this specific one. I think that's really good for the city's aesthetics is to make them all the same. And that's it. Susan, you asked about pricing. I can speak to that a little bit. They're spendy in the sense of it's a light and you wouldn't think it's that expensive, but anything with electrical is, especially those taller ones. The taller you get, the more costly it is. But to Jamie and Rebecca's comments, I've never heard of a developer saying that the streetlights are breaking the bank. Right there. In fact, I know of multiple developers who go above and beyond this and buy some pretty expensive lights just because they like the aesthetic. So it's, to me, that's not something that you have to be too worried about. I would be worried if this was being put on a private owner's, I guess, but it's not likely that private owner would have I'm assuming the footage to have to deal with this on the frontage. So.
Do you have an idea approximately, are there 5,000, 10,000, 20,000?
In that 5,000 range when you put the pole and the arm and the head all together. But like I said, I've seen lights up in the 10,000 range, but again, was a decision by developers to go fancy. So I don't think the lights that they're saying, especially because they're not going too decorative with the tall ones, it's just a simple arm, that'll keep the cost down quite a bit.
You want to add cost? I had a city that required all solar lights on on the artilleries and collectors.
We don't have enough sun here, Rebecca.
I know. That's what batteries for.
Yeah.
Lights that operate off of rain.
No, I don't think you can electrify off of the off of the light.
I guess if we had windmills,
Yeah.
or something, we can make them water mills.
There you go.
I
Yeah,
had
like go ahead, Heather.
I had a suggestion for the kind of the bottom of page 8, paragraph D. It says the poles at arms shall be one of the following or equal. Maybe like just tweaking the language to say equivalent in terms of style and design, so people know we're not talking about price. It's just a suggestion.
Yeah, do we say something up at the top? We said, or maybe it wasn't.
Again, which page were you referring to?
Page 8, paragraph D.
Okay.
Yeah, at the top of page 7, we do say, if a style or manufacturer is discontinued, the city will approve a similar type. We do mention
Okay.
that.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, that's the intent. You're right. So,
So it's you basically say change from equal to equivalent is your recommendation.
okay.
That works for me.
Mhm.
Anyone else have some comments?
I did want to just mention to you guys that we also had some discussion about the globe lights in downtown. You can think along Ballarat and kind of in front of the barn grill, and they're the glass, like antique-y looking globe lights. Generally, what we're hearing from council and mayor is that they want to transition to the more modern looking black that is downlit, because those globes there's a lot of light coming out of them.
Those globes don't technically meet our lighting of being a cutoff. So we can put them up for historical reasons, but they don't technically meet our goals and policies of making sure that the lighting is fully cut off.
Yeah, nor are they really like historic, probably.
Right.
They're just kind of made to look that way. So, I mean, that will happen over time. There's not going to be any like big changes. Just know that that's kind of the direction we want to go in the future. So,
Jimmy, I have a question. I'm not sure how to treat that. And I guess I just really haven't looked, but on these, the map, the corridors that we're talking about, I don't know. We have, I think I've got it right here. Yeah. When they, on 202, well, Bendigo, 202, does the state dictate how that's lit?
they will at like intersections and stuff. I know. I mean, it is 202 is their road. Are you talking? Where are you talking specifically?
Well, I'm talking about the exit off the freeway, 202. I don't know any numbers. I don't do, that's the one I'm talking about. And then it transitions through town,
right,
which is a main, right through our historic as well, on down to our boundary between Snoqualmie. And so now that has been developed a bit, do we have some say in that, or how does that work?
Yeah, that's my understanding. Our standards would trump. Now we coordinate with them. They would review frontage improvements like they did at the hotel site that never happened yet. But it's that, they oversee kind of our review, but it's up to us for standards. So they're going to just be like, there's AASHTO safety standards that need to be met for roadways, but beyond that, they would give the city the autonomy to make those local decisions.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else have any comments, questions? Hearing none. Is it time to, let's see, oh my gosh, we've done our deliberation. Is it time to vote on our motion?
Well, it sounds like there might be a friendly amendment motion.
Yeah,
Right.
I was thinking there might be one. Yeah.
Yeah, so I would amend my motion to include the change to, which paragraph was that?
That is paragraph D, change from equal to equivalent.
Okay, and what page was that? I'm scrolling, that's why I'm,
Page 8.
page 8, thank you. Yep. Okay, and then the person who seconded the motion has to agree.
Who seconded?
That was Torgerson.
Torgerson. Do you agree?
I agree.
All right. So
Now,
call for a
now we
vote.
can vote.
Anything else that was on? That was it, the only correction? Okay. Call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
I
Any opposition? Hearing none, the motion is passed.
And then I'm just an abstained vote
Thank you.
on that one.
You are going to. Okay, I didn't know whether you wanted to.
Yeah, I should probably do that. That's probably the right thing to do.
Okay. That's for the record. Commissioner Bowers has abstained from his vote. All right, there we go. The last thing on our agenda is just the note that December 9th, we will meet. I think at one point in time, we thought that there might be no meetings in December, but it looks like we have one planned. We'll review the commission's 2022 work program. Did we do that last year, by the way? We did.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, that's had the list of like the zoning map you guys recently updated. That was all on the
Okay.
work program for this year.
Okay.
So were some of the code changes we brought. I've got a nice long list for next year.
Oh,
Not enough
okay.
time in the year. So
Does that mean we don't get any summers off? Maybe. Okay.
I'm more worried about staff time than the number of meetings we could bring.
Oh,
Some of them are pretty simple. It's just a matter of getting through the process and legal and making the amendments and bringing them. I don't think they're all that controversial. They're just a matter of getting it done with workload for staff.
well, you got a strong team here. We can do that. We'll handle that. I'd like to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Whether you're if you're traveling, good luck. I'm thinking airport here, but if you're on the road, it's the same thing. I understand the pass is closed a little bit tonight, so they have a little snow up there, and what happens in that, somebody hits somebody, and there we go. So I don't know if it's open yet, but I did hear that it had closed. So please be safe out there. And anybody else have anything for the good of the order?
No.
Okay, we will adjourn at 7:31. Thank you all so much. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
See you next month.
See you, everyone.
Thanks.